Okay, there's so many things in your career, so we're gonna fast forward a
Yeah.
little bit. But after SC, so then after that, what made you transition or transfer back to UH?
Yeah, so I think I was taking summer school and
Okay.
what was it, man? I want to say it was a lot of things, but I think mainly I think one of it was I was not getting the time that I wanted for football.
Okay.
I also I also wasn't really like motivated to go to school and whatnot. I was like, shoot, I'm away from my family. I don't really, and I think part of it was me thinking about like our financial situation. So that didn't really help. And I was like, so those are a couple of things. And then what also ended up happening was our football coach ended up getting fired.
Yeah.
So I was, and he had his own deal, and kind of everything started to kind of go downhill there. And then like we weren't really looking too good for our volleyball, for our second year of volleyball. And I was like, shoot, I don't know if I want to stick it out over here.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, oh, shoot, yeah, do your first year. It's the hardest. And, go back. And I was like, okay. So I did another semester and I was like, I don't know if this is it for me,
Okay.
That's what ended up wanting me to make the switch back.
So did you have any conversations with the UH coaching staff or anything to make that transition back to UH?
Yeah, so funny you say that. Actually, after I ended up signing my papers, funny, I should have said this before, but this is funny.
Okay.
After I signed my papers at USC and Charlie Wade found out, he ended up calling me because my walk-on papers aren't really like official. It's just like you gotta sign something and then you actually have to sign some more papers after.
Yeah.
He ends up calling me and I'm just like, what makes the decision even? Talking about recruiting. He goes, all right, so here we go to it. I'll just give you a full scholarship to come play volleyball at UH. And you don't have to play football. And I was like, dude, what is going on over here? I'm just this 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid. Not, I just want to go play and have fun. Yeah. That's pretty much what I'm thinking. Yeah. And it was a great offer. Like, shoot, and it's hard to get full scholarships for volleyball because there's not that many. That's why I was surprised and caught off guard. So, I mean, it was tough to turn down, but I had to. But then he also told me that, if he called me again later after I actually made my official decision to go, and he goes, oh, if you ever want to come back to UH and play, you're always welcome to come back. And I was like, it was super comforting. Yes. So I actually called him back, and I think he said he was at Cheesecake Factory or something, and I'm like, coach, I'm coming back. And he's like, it wasn't really a long talk. He's like, all right, sounds good, let's try and work something out.
Okay. So then you came back, but you also played football, right? So now when you came back, did they offer you a scholarship immediately for volleyball?
I wanted to focus on volleyball. I was like 100% all in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I get to like actually put 100% effort into one sport, not split seasons, have an off season, train for that, get better in the off season, come back instead of having to play football, volleyball.
Yes.
And then I was going, what was it? I was like going on like some kind of trip or something. I forget. Okay. And it was like I actually couldn't play the first year.
Yeah, to sit out, right?
I had to sit out, so I actually burned that year. But then the summer after, before like the college football season started, Nick Rolovich calls me, and I'm like at the terminal to go to Anaheim to go train with the national team for volleyball, and they're like, so what you think about playing quarterback again? And I was like, what? Like in my head I was thinking like, what the heck? Yes. And I was completely thrown off because I didn't expect that phone call. And then they were like, yeah, so we got a couple quarterbacks, but I think they wanted like, they had the recruits, but I think they wanted like a safety blanket, just a guy that's like played the game, at a high level, and has a football, can somewhat, hold a team together, and more for like leadership, I want to say. But and I was like, oh shoot, I have to think about it. Like I was sitting down at the gate, and I was like, I on my phone, I called my parents. I'm like, Mom, Rolovich just called me and said if I want to play football again. But then me and my mom and my parents both knew, we're like, okay, we can't play unless they're on a full, scholarship. Because there's, what's the point? So I call him back, and I used to get nervous about talking like okay, I need a full scholarship. But like at this point in my career, I'm like, dude, or I'm just like, you got to know what you want, and you just got to ask for it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna need a full scholarship in order to, because there's no point in me. I just want to like focus on volleyball. I'm focused on volleyball. I want to go, because eventually I wanted to go play in the national team, play in the Olympics. That was like a dream of mine at one point, and sacrificing any of that time is like precious to me, So, and they're like, okay, let me talk about it with my, whoever you had to talk about it. He hangs up, calls me back like 2 minutes later. He's like, all right. And I was like, wait, did this guy really just offer me in my head, I was like, not trying to, I'm just like, wait, what the heck, this guy, I was amazed. I was like, I haven't thrown ball because I was like, I haven't been throwing football because I was a receiver.
Yes.
I haven't really gotten any reps, and my elbow was like, you know, not the best.
Yeah.
Because it started to hurt out of nowhere at one point, and I was like, okay, I guess we're actually doing this. So that's how I got back into football.
Yes. Oh, that's really interesting, and we'll kind of talk about the injuries in a second. But okay, so now just to get the timeline, so you came back in after the fall semester,
right?
Of your
technically after the fall,
second year.
I actually had to go to KCC for the time being.
Got it. In the spring.
In the spring and for a summer.
Okay, so for that spring, that's the volleyball season that you sat out, or did you have to sit out the year after?
No, just that. Just that.
Okay, just that, and then in the fall. You had to sit out that football season, or no? You could play.
No, I played right away because I redshirted.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Yeah. So now
it's confusing. I know.
That's where. And what summer was this?
I'll
say like
2016. Yeah, maybe let's go with 16. Oh wait, 2014.
2014, 15.
No, it was 16. It was
16. Okay. So that's the first time that I met you. Because now your elbow's jacked, and I'm talking to you and like, oh, you're gonna play quarterback, and you weren't throwing or anything. You know, it was like, okay, let's just get your arm as strong as possible.
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, we'll talk about the injuries in a second, but after that, what was your focus? Because you really wanted to play volleyball, right? Being on the football team and everything, I believe that you were being the scout quarterback,
right?
And I think every once in a while, I'll show up to practice, visit the athletic trainers or whatever. Yeah. And watching you play scout quarterback, I'm like, man, that's probably the best scout quarterback I've seen in a long time.
Flashes sometimes, a lot of the time it was
I'm
tough.
Thinking like, are you really the scout quarterback? But anyway, so what was your mindset, I guess, playing football and volleyball when you really wanted to focus on volleyball? What were you thinking through the last few years?
Yeah, so a lot of it, especially for football, it's just like, at that time, I was just like extremely grateful. Like, you just gotta accept my job. And I think Rolovich was he was really good on his part just to tell me like, okay, Tuileta, this is what you're gonna do. You're like, I was pretty much just a role player. Like, I'm gonna be on scout. Maybe if I end up getting playing time, I get playing time. But he has his guys, and I was like, we just need like your leadership and your camaraderie with the guys, and to kind of hold the team together. And I was like, and I wasn't really like, I kind of just filled the gaps. I want to say I tried to at least. Yeah, so I just had to be extremely thankful because I'm just like, dude, I get to come out here. I'm like, come to school right down the road from where I am and play some football with my friends, play volleyball. And I'm just like, just enjoy the time that I have. But the time I had for volleyball, especially, I took extremely serious because that is what I wanted to do. And then Rolovich would be super cool. He'd be like, shoot, I know we don't have this mandatory training, but if you wanted to go train for volleyball or something, like, because him and Charlie Wade were always like talking, like, in case I wanted to go like on a trip in the off season, like to go play with volleyball or something, they'd always talk, and they're super cool. I had a good relationship with both of them, and they'd always kind of keep in contact, and that's kind of how my career went, honestly, throughout. And when I got volleyball time, my mindset was get as good as you can, even though you had like, any time wasted is like not good at all, because I need every second I can. So
that's really good to hear that Rolo and Charlie Wade, they were really supportive, and you could, really tell them what you needed, right? I think part of that too is everyone that knows you're not going to take advantage of the system. So you're going to work hard wherever you're at. And I think that really helped them to support you even more.